You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
When it comes to ensuring your company has top-notch security practices, things can get complicated fast. Vanta automates compliance for SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more, saving you time and money. With Vanta, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Our listeners can claim a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber for $1,000 off Vanta. A major American chipmaker discloses a cyber attack. Cybercriminals exploit progressive web applications to bypass iOS and Android defenses. Mandiant uncovers a privilege escalation vulnerability in Microsoft Azure Kubernetes Services. ALBeast hits ALB. Microsoft's latest security update has caused significant issues for dual boot systems. The DOE's new SolarSnitch program aims to shore up solar panel security. Researchers uncover LLM poisoning techniques. An Iranian-linked group uses a fake podcast to lure a target. Our guest is Parya Lotfi, CEO of DuckDuckGoose, discussing the increasing problem of deepfakes in the cybersecurity landscape, and Return to Sender, AirTag edition. It's Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us once again here today. It is great to have you with us. Microchip Technology Incorporated, a major American chipmaker, has disclosed a cyber attack that disrupted operations across multiple manufacturing facilities. The company, headquartered in Chandler, Arizona, serves approximately 123,000 customers in various sectors, including industrial, automotive, and aerospace. The attack, which was detected on August 17th, forced Microchip to shut down and isolate affected systems, resulting in reduced manufacturing capacity and impacting its ability to fulfill orders. In a recent SEC filing, Microchip revealed that an unauthorized party had disrupted its use of certain servers and business operations. The company is currently assessing the damage with the help of external cybersecurity experts while working to restore normal operations. The full extent and impact of the attack are still unknown, and while the filing hints at a possible ransomware incident, no group has yet claimed responsibility. Microchip is also evaluating whether the breach will materially affect its financial condition. Cybercriminals are exploiting progressive web applications, PWAs, to bypass iOS and Android defenses, launching a malicious campaign targeting users in Eastern Europe. These PWAs, which look like legitimate banking apps, are actually just malicious websites packaged as apps. Users are tricked into installing them through phishing links delivered via SMS, social media ads, and automated calls urging them to update their banking apps. Once installed, these fake apps mimic real ones, but lead to phishing sites where login credentials are stolen. ESET researchers uncovered that at least 2 threat actors are behind this campaign, using different command and control infrastructures. The campaign has primarily affected users in the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, and Georgia. ESET warns that this method could lead to more spyware PWAs, as browser APIs allow these fake apps to request access to sensitive device functions. A privilege escalation vulnerability in Microsoft Azure Kubernetes Services, AKS, could have allowed attackers to access sensitive information, such as service credentials used by the cluster, Mandiant reports. The issue affected AKS clusters using Azure CNI for network configuration and Azure for network policy. Attackers with command execution in a pod with the cluster could exploit this vulnerability to download cluster node configurations, extract TLS bootstrap tokens, and access all secrets in the cluster. The flaw could be exploited even without root privileges or host network enabled. Microsoft resolved the issue after being notified. Mandiant highlights the risk of Kubernetes clusters lacking proper configurations, as attackers could use this vulnerability to compromise the cluster, access resources, and even expose internal cloud services. The flaw also allowed attackers to use the TLS bootstrap token to gain broader access to cluster secrets. ALBeast is a critical vulnerability discovered by MIGO Research that allows attackers to bypass authentication and authorization in applications using AWS Application Load Balancer, ALB. This misconfiguration in ALB's user authentication can lead to unauthorized access, data breaches, and data exfiltration. ALBeast affects applications relying on AWS ALB, especially those not following updated AWS documentation. Attackers can exploit this vulnerability by creating a malicious ALB, forging a token, and manipulating ALB configurations to bypass defenses. MIGO Research identified over 15,000 potentially vulnerable ALBs. AWS addressed the issue by updating authentication documentation and providing guidance to affected organizations. To mitigate the risk, organizations should verify token signers, restrict traffic to trusted ALB instances, and ensure security configurations are aligned with AWS recommendations. Microsoft's latest security update has caused significant issues for dual-boot systems running both Windows and Linux. Intended to fix a 2-year-old vulnerability in the Grub bootloader, the update inadvertently affected dual-booting devices, preventing Linux installations from booting properly. Users have reported security policy violation and something has gone seriously wrong errors across various Linux distributions. The patch was meant to enhance secure boot by blocking vulnerable Linux boot loaders, but Microsoft claimed it wouldn't affect dual boot systems. Despite this, many users are facing problems, and Microsoft has yet to comment. The Department of Energy's Office of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response has introduced SolarSnitch, a cybersecurity technology developed by Sandia National Laboratories. SolarSnitch is designed to protect communications within photovoltaic systems at the grid's edge by analyzing cyber and physical data in PV smart inverters and using machine learning to detect potential cyber threats. Funded with $490,000 from DOE's CSER and the Solar Energy Technologies Office, the project aims to mature SolarSnitch for commercialization over the next 24 months through real-world testing. The technology is part of a broader effort to secure distributed energy resources like rooftop solar systems, which are increasingly critical to grid reliability. SolarSnitch is among 50 clean energy projects selected in the fiscal year 2024 Technology Commercialization Fund. Developers are increasingly using AI programming assistants to write code, but new research highlights the risks of blindly accepting AI-generated code. A team of researchers from University of Tennessee, Knoxville, Singapore Management University, and University of Connecticut uncovered a technique called codebreaker, which can poison AI models, like large language models, to suggest vulnerable code that appears benign. This method bypasses static analysis tools and hides malicious code in ways that make it difficult to detect, potentially leading to serious security risks. The research underscores the importance of developers carefully reviewing AI-generated code, not just for functionality, but for security. Developers are urged to maintain a critical approach and to learn prompt engineering techniques to generate secure code. The study builds on previous work showing that AI models can be poisoned by inserting malicious examples into their training data. As AI becomes more integrated into development processes, ensuring the security of these tools and the code they produce is crucial. In July of this year, the Iranian-linked threat group TA-453 impersonated the research director of the Institute for the Study of War to target a prominent Jewish figure with a phishing campaign. The attackers used a fake podcast invitation to lure the target, eventually sending a malicious link through DocSend and Google Drive. The final payload, delivered via a zip file, included the Blacksmith toolset and the Anvil Echo PowerShell Trojan designed for intelligence collection. TA-453, which overlaps with groups like Microsoft's Mint Sandstorm and Mandiant's APT42, uses sophisticated social engineering tactics to build trust with targets before delivering malware. Their advanced toolset, Anvil Echo, consolidates previous malware capabilities into a single script, highlighting the group's ongoing efforts to refine their cyber espionage techniques in support of Iranian government interests. A fake podcast. Is nothing sacred? Coming up after the break, Parya Lotfi, CEO of DuckDuckGoose, discusses the increasing problem of deepfakes in cybersecurity. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, KnowBe4. It's all connected, and we're not talking conspiracy theories. When it comes to InfoSec tools, effective integrations can make or break your security stack. The same should be true for security awareness training. KnowBe4, provider of the world's largest library of security awareness training, provides a way to integrate your existing security stack tools to help you strengthen your organization's security culture. KnowBe4's Security Coach uses standard APIs to quickly and easily integrate with your existing security products from vendors like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and Cisco, 35 vendor integrations and counting. Security Coach analyzes your security stack alerts to identify events related to any risky security behavior from your users. Use this information to set up real-time coaching campaigns targeting risky users based on those events from your network, endpoint, identity, or web security vendors. Then coach your users at the moment the risky behavior occurs, with contextual security tips delivered via Microsoft Teams, Slack, or email. Learn more at knowbefore.com/securitycoach. That's knowbefore.com/securitycoach. And we thank KnowBe4 for sponsoring our show. Enterprises today are using hundreds of SaaS apps. Are you reaping their productivity and innovation benefits, or are you lost in the sprawl? Enter Savvy Security. They help you surface every SaaS app, identity, and risk, so you can shine a light on shadow IT and risky identities. Savvy monitors your entire SaaS attack surface to help you efficiently eliminate toxic risk combinations and prevent attacks. So go on, get savvy about SaaS and harness the productivity benefits. Fuel innovation while closing security gaps. Visit savvy.security to learn more. Parya Lotfi is CEO of DuckDuckGoose, and I recently caught up with her to discuss the increasing problem of deepfakes in cybersecurity.
So deepfakes, for those who might be new to the term, are AI-generated or AI-manipulated videos, images, or audio. And those are almost indistinguishable from real content. We are actually talking about technology that can make it look like anyone saying anything and even doing things that they never actually have done before. And this is not just about fun anymore. We are seeing deepfakes being used for example, manipulation of elections, spreading disinformation, and even target businesses, but also individuals. In fact, the World Economic Forum recently ranked disinformation, including deepfakes, as one of the top global risks for 2024. And that's how serious it has become. As we look into the use cases of deepfakes, it is really important to also emphasize the variety and the dangers of these applications. For example, picture this. It is election season and suddenly a video pops up showing a political leader saying something outrageous. It looks real, but it's completely fake. And of course, having the social media and its speed to spread content nowadays, it is perfectly possible to even manipulate people's opinion regarding that specific election case. And this is not just hypothetical, it's happening, in fact, nowadays. And it is, as I said, a way to, for example, manipulate elections. There's also the media use case. So imagine you turn on your TV and the news and find out about a story that is based on a video or an audio clip that might never actually have happened in reality. And this kind of fake news, of course, can spread confusion and distrust regarding digital content. And what, of course, we're also seeing and investigating at DuckDuckGoose is the use of deepfake for financial scams. We have seen cases where, for example, companies' CEOs or executive level people appear to instruct staff to transfer funds, but also information, of course, sharing information which might be sensitive. But again, it's all made up by an artificial intelligence network. What also is really alarming is that we have seen an increase up to 10% of deepfake selfies being pictures of people that are being used for example, biometric verifications to open a bank account, let's say, or if you have a bank account, to log into the bank account by using a deepfake of an existing people or a deepfake of a synthetic identity, so a fabricated person that is completely, of course, non-existent, but has an online life, let's say. So this means that someone's digital identity could be completely fabricated. And in that case, banks, but also other financial institutions, are at a high risk of financial fraud with all the consequences that they might suffer from afterwards.
Is it fair to say that the availability of the technology is such that there's a low barrier of entry for people to be able to generate extremely convincing images and videos?
Yes, absolutely. In the past couple of years, we have seen the accessibility, but also the quality of deepfake generation tools increasing tremendously. And that also has caused kind of a cat and mouse game between deepfake generation technologies out there and the detection capabilities that are being provided by mainly companies and research groups that are working on this issue. Nowadays, it is even possible that you use a short video of someone presenting their face in that video to generate a completely reliable looking and even live deepfake of that person. I was having a discussion with my good friend and also co-founder Mark recently, and he posed this question to me, which really made me think deeply. His question was, nowadays in this deepfake area, or in this digital deepfake area, if you present your face in interviews, in for example, YouTube videos, or even in video calls that we are having nowadays, all of us, we tremendously rely on tools such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams to have conversations with, for example, our business partners. In that case, if you present your face anywhere, does your face belong to you? Since we know that everyone can access that information, your biometrics in that case, and use that to generate a deepfake of you. And this really got me thinking, because that's true. I have a couple of videos online. I am in Teams and Zoom meetings continuously, actually. So if someone would make a recording of my face or even use a single picture, that's enough in some cases as well, they could be able to generate a deepfake of me and, for example, join a meeting instead of me. So it's actually tremendously easy these days to generate a deepfake of anyone that you would like to, even with a single picture.
So what are the technologies that are available? How are folks coming at this problem of being able to detect whether or not something is a deepfake?
That's an excellent question. So at DuckDuckGoose, we really stand for raising awareness regarding deepfakes. That's also why we say that being skeptical and being aware that not anything or not everything that we see or hear digitally nowadays is necessarily authentic. In order to be able to protect ourselves from, for example, deepfake dangers, firstly, we need to verify the source of any content that we see as an individual. So let's say that you receive a video or an image or an audio clip. The first thing that you should do nowadays is to try to verify the source of it. So take a moment to trace back to its source and its origin and see where it comes from. And if you cannot verify the source, it's better, of course, to be cautious. The second thing that we can do regarding deepfake detection as an individual is, of course, let's say you're on a video call with someone and you feel that something is not all right and something is just feels off. You can ask the person to, for example, perform a real-time action, such as turning their face for more than 90 degrees to see if there are any strange things happening in their face. And if that's the case, there's a chance that the person is using a deepfake. And one more thing that, for example, an individual could do is looking in the eyes. Let's say that you receive a video of a person that might be non-existing, so a fully generated person in a video or in a picture. One thing you could do to confirm if it's a deepfake or not is to look into, for example, the reflections in the eyes, because those hold details that should be in someone's eyes if the person is a real person. And if you notice that the eyes of this person in the video look a bit dull or lifeless, it is worth being suspicious. And of course, I can imagine that these tips and tricks might help in individual cases, for example, for a person to be able to verify the content. But what happens if, for example, companies such as banks, let's say, are having millions and millions of images coming through their systems for identification and authentication purposes, being, for example, people's facial biometrics. In that case, it is really needed to also take a look at the technological landscape to see what is out there that can be used for deepfake detection. And since deepfakes are becoming better and better, the need to have generalizable tools such as AI technology as well, but AI technology that is able to look beyond its training data set, meaning that if you have deepfake types A, B, and C that you have trained your network on to recognize them, but there's all of a sudden the next day there is a deepfake type D coming out, it is important to keep up with the developments and make your technology in such a way that it's also able to uncover those types of deepfakes. And that is the biggest value that a user of a deepfake detection technology can get from their detection tools that are being used for the protection purposes.
How reliable are the deepfake detection tools these days? So where do we stand? What's the state of the art?
Great question. So as I was explaining, the quality of a detection technology, which is mainly nowadays based on AI technologies as well, mainly depends on the type of data that you have used to train your systems and make them familiarize with deepfake, actually, to make it able to uncover those deepfakes later on. What we see is that if you have a proper detection technology, again, based on AI, and you test that under lab circumstances, the performance might go up to 95 and even up to 99% in some cases. But that, again, doesn't say much about how good this technology is when you use data from the wild as an input. That's something that at DuckDuckGoose also plays a big role. So we have seen that it is really crucial to basically know the attack landscape out there for your users and the partners that are making use of our technology, relying on our technology. And that way we are making our technology the best suitable for those type of data. And of course, as I was saying, the quality of your data sets that you use for training is crucial for your quality of detection later on. But as I was also explaining, the deepfake generation landscape is developing tremendously fast. So keeping up in this cat and mouse game when it comes to deepfake detection technologies is becoming more and more challenging. That's why we see that the importance of more generalizable technologies is increasing at the moment to make sure that your performance keeps up when there are new types of deepfake being used for attacks. So generally speaking, to summarize my answers, we hear a lot that detection technologies are capable of deepfake detection up to 99%. But the point is to also make that happen when you get data as input that is unseen for your detection technology. And that's what we are heavily investing in at DuckDuckGoose.
That's Parya Lotfi from DuckDuckGoose. The IT world used to be simpler. You only had to secure and manage environments that you controlled. Then came new technologies and new ways to work. Now, employees, apps, and networks are everywhere. This means poor visibility, security gaps, and added risk. That's why Cloudflare created the first-ever connectivity cloud. Visit cloudflare.com to protect your business everywhere you do business.
Return to sender. Return to sender. I gave a letter to the postman.
And finally, our philately desk tells us the sad tale of a pair of postal mail thieves in Santa Maria Valley, California, who thought they were scoring more checks and credit cards, but instead nabbed a package containing an Apple AirTag. A clever and fed-up resident, tired of her mail being stolen, decided to track down the culprits herself by mailing the AirTag to her own address. When the device inevitably disappeared, she promptly alerted the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, who followed the AirTag's trail right to the unsuspecting crooks. The thieves were found with a treasure trove of stolen goods, leading to charges of identity theft and fraud. The sheriff's office praised the victim's ingenuity, while the thieves likely learned crime really doesn't pay, especially when your loot comes with a GPS tracker. And that's the CyberWire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your teams smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Eiben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Strata is your solution for securing on-prem and cloud apps without the hassle of refactoring. Modernize legacy systems with MFA or passwordless authentication and ensure continuous identity availability across multi-cloud environments. Say goodbye to tech debt and hello to seamless integration. Strata helps you reduce stress and gain control over your identity architecture, enhancing security and efficiency. Join industry leaders like 3M, Navy Federal, and Kroger, who trust Strata for their identity needs. Visit strata.io/cyberwire to share your biggest identity challenge and receive a complimentary pair of AirPods Pro. Don't miss out. Transform your identity management today at strata.io/cyberwire. And our thanks to Strata for being a longtime friend and supporter of this podcast.